our officials, we have Geo Knitter, Morticia, Aaron Burr, Sadie Masochist, Sin Nombre, Ope, Terabyte, Riot Earp, Stompador, Extra Crispy, Andy Oakley, Johnny Demonic, Nomad, Miller Light, Class Warfarin, and Eddie Lizard. Thank you so much to our officials, both skating and non. Thank you also to volunteers for coming out and helping us get this together today. And that is 5 seconds. We have both jammers on the track. Jammers pushing against that sad space, looking for any open that their team can give them. If you are new to roller derby, we have 4 blockers on the track and 1 jammer for each team. Jammers are shown with a star in their helmet. You'll also see a stripe on a helmet of a blocker on the track as well. That is the pivot. If the jammer ever says, I don't want to do this jamming thing anymore, they can pass their star to the pivot and take over. As of right now, no lead yet declared. Looks like Red Stick Jammer is being dragged back, having to go through the pack again. Texas Jammer also working from the back of the pack, being hit back out by Red Stick as well. Almost 30 seconds in to our first jam of the game and no lead yet declared. Both jammers pressing hard against those tripods. Looks like Red Stick does have some offense working for them up front. Texas working against that Red Stick tripod in the back. A little bit of movement. We're only just past turn 1. Again, we are almost a minute into this jam with no lead yet declared. Looks like we do have some movement in the back. Both jammers working against that sad space. Texas does have that Red Stick tripod moving slightly up front, and that will be Texas Roller Derby with the lead jam for Tropical Mechanica as they come around for their scoring pass. Sparkles Fantastic does pass that star to the pivot, making Little Miss Maggot jammer of record for Red Stick. Tropical Mechanica going to get those points and call off the jam. First points on the board for this game is going to be for Texas Roller Girls. See how many the refs throw up after that. And a clean box so far as well. Oh my gosh. I got T-Rex hopping on the mic with me. It's not on yet. You got it. There you go. Now you're on. Hello. Full complement of jammers and blockers on the track as we go into Jam 2 of the game. We've got Mayhem West for Texas with Brawladine for Red Stick. And that is going to be Mayhem West for Texas. Brawladine fighting their way through. Those last 2 defenders from Texas does make it through. He's going to put the cap back on. Texas on the out is going to go ahead and call it off. It's okay. I'm going to make you talk the entire next jam. That does have 8 points on the board total for Texas Roller Girls after that jam. We are looking at the pivot for Red Stick starting in that penalty box.
Penalty box. I contributed.
Hey Rex, how do penalties work in this game?
You get 30 seconds if you get one. Sometimes you get a whole minute if you mess up real bad. Ooh, jam is on. Got both jammers fighting in the back. Ooh. Oh! Matrix move. And Texas has lead jam. We've got impact play coming around on a scoring pass. And some nice defense by Red Stick. And we've got one in the box for Texas. Red Stick had successful star pass. Ooh. Did we scoop up any points? No, we did not.
You did so good. That was great. All right, looks like Texas will be starting with one in the penalty box. So a little bit of a pack advantage for Red Stick as we go into jam number 3. I can read, look at that. Both jammers starting on that jam line. Packs on the move towards the top by that pivot line. Looks like we got Red Stick fighting very quickly up to the front. Texas fighting a tripod of their own in the back of that pack. And that is going to be with a twinkle toe up that side. It's going to be Sparkles Fantastic with some incredible footwork on that outside line. Holy
I'd even call
smokes.
it fantastic footwork.
Fantastic footwork. Sparkles Fantastic coming in, and 4 points of their own on the board as Texas is coming around for a scoring pass. Texas has passed to start to their pivots, which is now Olivia
apex
with
jump.
a beautiful apex jump on that inside line. 4 points on the board for Texas. Sparkles Fantastic coming on for 4 more points of their own as they dip and dive around. Olivia Newton-John blasting through that Red Stick pack. 8 on the board so far for Red Stick, 4 on the board for Texas as Sparkles Fantastic comes around for maybe the 12th. Being dragged all the way back. So if you do get hit out of bounds, you must re-enter the pack behind the person that hit you out. Looks like we do have a Texas skater heading over to our penalty box as Sparkles Fantastic ekes their way through on that inside line. That is going to bring their score up to 12 points for this jam. Olivia Shootin' fighting that tripod in the front. And does some toe work of their own on that inside line. Both jammers racking up points in this jam. And Red Stick is telling Sparkles Fantastic to run it. They're at 16 points already on the board as Olivia Shootin' blasts through that tripod in the back from Red Stick. 4 more points for Texas. 8 points so far on a star pass. 20 points so far for Red Stick. Quite the jam for Sparkles Fantastic and Red Stick Roller Derby coming to us from Louisiana. Ooh. And a beautiful slide up that outside for Olivia Shootin'.
Spin move.
That was impressive. Teach me how to do that. And we do have a call-off from Sparkles Fantastic. Let's see where that brings our scores. That was highest scoring jam I think that we've had of the day so far from both teams. 16 points for Texas Roller Girls, 23 for Red Stick Roller Derby. First points of the day for Red Stick, bringing our score to 27 for Texas and 23 for Red Stick.
Red Stick out with a quick lead, but we have Texas out as well. How many points are we going to put up on the board? Pack is moving fast.
We are going to have what I believe is an official timeout. Let both teams take a breather. If you are in venue with us today, we do have some beautifully talented tattoo artists located in the back of our track. Go ahead, check out their work, sign up for a slot. I'm getting my tattoo tomorrow. Don't tell my wife. Sorry, babe. Really talented work. They were here with us last year. They filled up their sign-up sheets right away, so do go and check them out. We also have merch tables from a lot of teams in the back as well. Support your teams. Check out your merch. Thank you to all the teams who traveled to be here today. We've got teams from Texas, Arizona, Louisiana. I came from St. Paul, really far.
Super far.
Yeah. So thank you to everyone who traveled today. Skater is getting up on their own accord, which we love to see. Brief shout out to our medics. Thank you so much for keeping us safe today and every day. All right. We are getting ready to start this next jam. Looks like we will start with one skater in the box for Red Stick. Again, with penalties, you sit for 30 seconds. If you get 2, you get to sit for 1 minute. Once a skater reaches 7 penalties, it's called fouling out, and you actually get to be invited to take your stuff off and leave the game. So, not a strategy I would recommend. As of right now, penalty-wise, we do have one skater from each team sitting at 2 penalties apiece. Nothing super serious. We are 8-ish minutes into this game. I'm bad at math. Current score, Texas Roller Girls at 30. Red Stick at 24.
It's a 6-point difference.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I needed that math. I really did.
Jam is on.
All right.
Big hit from Texas. And Texas with lead jam. Haas the boss making those blockers work for it. Trying to get to one.
Ouch. No, thank you. Haas and Twinkletoes sprinting their way through the pack for some extra points. Haas gonna call it off. Look at those final numbers from the rest. We got fingers in the air. That is gonna be 7 points total for Texas Rollergirls, bringing their total to 37, holding Red Stick scoreless. Red Stick at 24 still does have that blocker in the box. Currently on the jam line, we do have Mayhem West from Texas and Sparkles Fantastic for Red Stick. I do love that name. That's a great derby name. All right, 5 seconds. We got teams setting up. We actually have a blocker apiece in the penalty box, so it'll be a 3-3 pack advantage for both teams as both jammers are pushing their way through the sad place, trying to work their way to the top to get lead jammer first. Texas blocker is released from the box, going to go help their jammer, hopefully with a little bit of offense. Both jammers fighting on that outside line against their respective teams, now pushing more towards the middle. 20 seconds away in this jam, and we are still waiting on a lead jammer. Both jammers working their way up from the back of the pack. Now a clear box, so full complement of skaters for both teams on the track. And as I say that, a whistle blows, sending someone else to the box. Sorry. Blocker from Red Stick headed to the penalty box. Both jammers in the back of the pack, still working their way forward. That will be Mayhem West from Texas coming out first at lead jammer with almost a minute underway in this jam. Texas will be coming around for a scoring pass. We do have another blocker from Red Stick heading their way to the penalty box as Mayhem West is fighting their way to the front of the pack with 2 left to deal with. Full complement of Texas blockers still holding back Sparkles Fantastic, still working on their initial pass. That is going to be 4 points on the board for Texas and Mayhem West. Nice offense from Red Stick to get their pivot turn jammer out of the pack. That is going to be Little Miss Maggot as new jammer of record, but that is going to be a call off for Mayhem West before Little Miss Maggot can put any points on the board.
Texas Rollergirls pulling ahead at 45 while Red Stick is stuck at 24.
What's the math on that?
I'm mathing it today. Off the clock math.
You are off the clock
I am.
mathing.
Ooh, got all. And Texas with a quick lead, followed by, and Red Stick jammer in the penalty box. This is a power jam for Texas. Ooh.
Big ouch.
Respect the charisma, going for it. Apex jumps. Texas trying to hold the pack in back, letting their jammer out at the top with a beautiful spin move. 4 points on the board for Texas. Texas pivot is now in the box while the Red Stick jammer is back on the track. Quick work of that pack. Red Stick with 4 points. Texas calls it off with their pivot still in the box, so they will start the next jam 1 down with their pivot in the box. Good news is pivot is standing, so they have 10 seconds or less left of this penalty to serve.
It was really beautiful footwork, that jam.
Beautiful footwork.
Stunning. 10 out of 10 for the American judges. All right, on that jammer line, we do have Twinkle Toes from Red Stick. And, I don't know how to read. Hold on. Tropical Mechanica from Texas Rollergirls. And a quick lead for Tropical Mechanica and Texas Roller Derby on that inside line, now coming around for their scoring pass. Twinkle Toes is going to remove the cap, look for a pass to their pivot as Tropical Mechanica is entering in. Actually, Twinkle Toes does make it through on their own, finishes that initial pass. And that is going to be a call-off from Tropical Mechanica and Texas Rollergirls before Twinkle Toes can come around and score any points for Red Stick, bringing that score 56 Texas Rollergirls, 26 Red Stick Roller Derby. We do have a timeout called. Looks like that's going to be a team timeout for Texas Rollergirls. In a game, each team does get 3 timeouts and 1 official review that they can use per half. An official review is maybe if you want to go and have a snuggly little chat with the refs in the middle, say, hey, I saw this thing, but you didn't seem to see the same thing. Let's talk about it. If you go and ask the refs a very nicely worded question during your official review, and they say, you know what, you were actually right, my bad, you will retain your official review for the half. If they say, nah, friends, you were really off on that, you lose your official review. Sad day. How dare you?
Nobody wants to lose. Not an official
I don't
review.
like losing.
We have a 30-point game. We're going to start this next jam with 1 blocker in the box from each team. It's just 2 3v1s. That's all right.
Huh. Yeah, that's not bad. 3 is 1 less than 4. It's nice that you're an accountant.
You're welcome. Pack is moving quickly. Red Stick Jammer getting pulled to the back. Texas Jammer pushing at the top of the pack. We are now just clumped in the apex, trying to make some room. Red Stick trying to make a little bit of room, but knocked down on the inside. Texas and Red Stick now both at full packs as their blockers are released from the box. We got 2 grindy tripods here. And Texas blocker heading to the box, giving Red Stick the pack advantage. While the Texas Jammer works hard at the top. Big hit. It's another penalty for Texas. We're now 2 down while their blocker works hard at the top of the pack here. Some excellent bridging, maintaining the pack to try to get their jammer out. Trying to get that 20 feet at the top to get released, and Texas Jammer. Our pass for Red Stick. In the box.
Good gravy. That was
That's some hard work.
exhausting. Machu Picchu from Red Stick just all over the track, holding the jammer by themselves at the top and then immediately turning around and getting that star pass.
Some
Work.
excellent bridging by Red Stick there.
Stunning. Could never. That's a lot of work. All right. On the track for Red Stick, and a quick lead is going to be Brawla Dean. Spread Eagle from Texas working towards the back, does have star in hand. And that looks like that is going to be Brawla Dean. I'm sorry, Brawla Dean is lead. Spread Eagle is heading to the penalty box for Texas, which is a power jam for Red Stick. Power jam meaning there's 1 jammer on the track, the other jammer's in the box. So Brawla Dean and Red Stick, a chance to kind of work their score up as they have free reign to score. Brawla Dean working their way through the pack at the top. Pushing the way against the last couple of blockers from Texas and blasting through. That is going to be another point on the board for Red Stick Roller Derby. 8 so far in the jam. Red Stick working on some offense of their own as their jammer does come back around for 4 more points is the goal.
Ooh, Brawla Dean taking a nice shirt whip off their teammate there.
And a beautiful Comeback from the box as Spread Eagle has cap on the ground and is going to put their cap back on. Wow.
Jam was over. No harm, no foul.
True. That is going to be 12 points on the board for Red Stick Roller Derby, bringing their score to 38, holding Texas with 0 points at 59.
Might have been the biggest jam for Red Stick of the game so far.
Yeah. Oh, nope. There was one where it was like 16 and 23.
Ooh, 16.
You were busy
That's
at the
four.
tattoo
That's
place.
4 passes.
That's a lot.
Some math.
That's some math.
Jam is on with some big hits here. Both jammers fighting to get out. Ooh. Matrix move unsuccessful. Jammer getting drawn back to the back of the pack for Red Stick while Texas Jammer is lead. That is Tropical Mechanica lead for Texas Roller Derby coming around the apex, trying to score some points. While Red Stick is fighting hard to get out of that pack on their initial. Red Stick is down 1 blocker in the penalty box, and Red Stick is now out on their initial, entering their scoring pass. It's a little jammer on jammer defense before calling the jam off.
It's like my least favorite thing.
I get so scared.
I hate jammer on jammer defense. I'm not.
I love to see it, but I get scared.
Yeah.
That was cool, though.
If I see it coming for me, though, no. I'm going to lie down. I'm okay, thanks.
Take a little nap.
Take a little nap. All right, we are going to start this next jam with 2 blockers in the box for Red Stick Roller Derby and 1 in the box for Texas Roller Girls. A little bit of a pack advantage for Texas Roller Girls as both jammers are coming off of that jam line. Ooh, and a little bit of a tumble on the outside for the Texas jammer, which means that is going to give Sparkles Fantastic time to become lead jammer from Red Stick. Impact play for Texas, taking their cap off as they attempt to pass to their pivot. That is going to be 4 points on the board for Sparkles Fantastic and Red Roller Derby. Couple of whistles as we hear. That is going to be 2 blockers from Red Stick headed to that penalty box, leaving 1 blocker on their own out there.
Sparkles got lead with 2 in the box, though. That's pretty impressive.
That is very true. But that does leave the play to get all 4 points on their first scoring pass.
Oh, some magnificent footwork. Spin move.
Yeah. And
4 points on the board for Texas.
Second scoring pass.
Jam ends with 2 blockers for Red Stick standing in the penalty box. Less than 10 seconds left to serve, while Texas is at full strength. Red Stick now at full strength with their blockers released from the penalty box. Texas Jammer getting drawn to the back of the pack. Red Stick Jammer now out for lead. That is Brawla Dean with lead jammer status coming around on a scoring pass.
Quick call off. We'll hold Texas scoreless, and that'll be 2 points on the board for Red Stick Roller Derby. We are going to start with Tropical Mechanica on the jam line for Texas. And that's going to be Twinkle Toes on the jam line for Red Stick Roller Derby. 1 blocker apiece in that penalty box for both teams, so a 3-3 pack. Jam is on.
There's a little jammer on jammer defense there.
Ooh,
right off
but
the
a
start.
beautiful toe stop work up the inside for Tropical Mechanica to become lead jammer for Texas Roller Girls as Twinkle Toes does make a fast pass to Little Miss Maggot, new jammer of record for Red Stick Roller Derby, as Tropical Mechanica is leaving after getting all 4 points on her first scoring pass. And that is going to be a call off from Tropical Mechanica and Texas Roller Derby, holding Red Stick scoreless. And 4 points on the board for Texas Roller Girls, bringing that score up to 75 for Texas Roller Girls, 48 for Red Stick Roller Derby.
I think we saw some good strategy there. Jammer trying to spread out the time to get their blockers out of the box before calling it off while freezing Red Stick Roller Derby at 0 points in that jam. That was good checking in with the bench. We love to see it. Jam is on, and we have Spread Eagle for Texas Roller Girls and Sparkles Fantastic for Red Stick Roller Derby, with Spread Eagle out for a quick lead, but Sparkles Fantastic quick to answer. Both jammers now on a scoring pass. It is a 3-2 jam there. 3 for Texas, 2 for Red Stick Roller Derby.
Nice call off. So when we say calling off, it's your first time watching roller derby. When the jammer who gets out first is lead jammer, they hold the power to decide when they want to stop playing. And you'll see that jammer tap their hips aggressively while staring lovingly at into their jam ref's eyes, saying, "I want to be done with this." And that is when the jam is called. Starting with an empty penalty box for both teams on the track, as we have jammers Mayhem West from Texas and Brawladine from Red Stick, and Brawladine with a beautiful tiptoe up that inside line to become lead jammer for Red Stick Roller Derby. Mayhem West with a star pass to Peace War of Texas, now the jammer of record for Texas Roller Girls. Quick check with the ref. That is going to be 4 points through for Brawladine and Red Stick Roller Derby. We do have some whistles going, and that is going to be, again, 2 blockers from Red Stick headed to that penalty box. Peace War out from that star pass, and Brawladine is coming in for 4 more points against Texas. Peace War heading in for some points of their own, as they are now the jammer of record for Texas, being hit out to the outside and being forced to recycle all the way back behind number 13 for Red Stick. Still have Brawladine pushing towards the top of that pack, and that is going to be 4 more points for Red Stick Roller Derby, bringing their total for this jam up to 8. Peace War, though, with 4 points of her own under her belt as the new jammer, working on tiptoeing up that inside, but is going to have to get recycled back. We now have a Texas blocker in the penalty box, clear box for Red Stick. And we've got a couple more whistles going. 1 more blocker from Red Stick headed to the penalty box. Jinxed ya, sorry. Both jammers fighting against the back of those packs. Really strong tripod work that we're seeing from both teams. And as I say that is going to be Peace War out for 4 more points of her own as the jammer for Texas. Brawladine fighting against 2 more at the top is going to have to be recycled all the way back after all that hard work. Mayhem West released from the penalty box, going to help Texas out. That is going to be Peace War through for 4 more points on a star pass. 12 points on the board for Peace War in Texas, bringing their score up to 90. 12 points also on the board for Red Stick Roller Derby, bringing their score up to 62 points. Real quick, looking at some penalties. We do have a player from Red Stick sitting at 4. It's the most damage we see, though. Again, you can get 7 in a game before you are asked respectfully to get the heck out of here.
And Red Stick out with a quick lead, 10 seconds into the jam, and Texas with a successful star pass. Texas now with 3 blockers in the box. 2. 1 blocker standing. Red Stick at full strength with lead jam status. We've got Twinkle Toes coming around with speed and a beautiful pass. Excellent footwork there, getting by those 2 remaining blockers. Olivia Shootin' John quick to respond and now out on a scoring pass. Looks like Twinkle Toes is going to run it. Another beautiful pass. 4 more points on the board for Red Stick Roller Derby. Texas now just 1 blocker in the box, who is standing, only 10 seconds left to serve. And Twinkle Toes takes a big hit at the top of the pack, but our blocker number 26 for Texas is going to get a penalty for that one. Twinkle Toes with some awesome spin moves and getting knocked to the inside. And Texas out on another scoring pass. Red Stick calls the jam, freezing one Texas blocker in the box. However, they are standing, so we've got less than 10 seconds to serve on that penalty. Looks like 24 points on that jam for Red Stick Roller Derby to Texas's 8. That was a big jam for Red Stick. Twinkle Toes those toes were twinkling. Twinkling. Some excellent blocking from both teams. That looked like a hard fight on both sides.
No thanks.
No thanks.
No thanks.
Sit here and yap.
Just sit here and gab. Quick shout out to our track maintenance babes as they wander their way around, making sure that our track is staying on the track and not floating around in skaters' wheels. Love that.
Track maintenance.
We are almost halftime on the second game of day one of Have a Nice Day tournament put on by Minnesota Roller Derby at 7 p.m. Central Time. You'll see Minnesota Roller Derby A team versus Arizona Roller Derby All-Stars. That'll be a great game. And then we're back tomorrow with 6 games tomorrow.
6 games. That's a lot of roller derby.
That's a lot of roller derby. And then there's 3 more on Sunday.
Incredible.
That's a lot of games.
I'm
I can't do the
to have
math.
all these teams here with us.
We're just snuggling. All right, one blocker in the box for Texas Roller Derby, and we are going to have impact play for Texas Roller Girls and Sparkles Fantastic as jammers for Red Stick Roller Derby. Both jammers pushing through those tripods. And it looks like we do have Sparkles Fantastic headed to that penalty box, leaving potential lead jam open for impact play in Texas Roller Girls. They do have a power jam. Texas holding one Red Stick blocker back, leaving impact play to clear those Red Stick blockers, making them lead jammer for Texas Roller Girls. Coming around for their first scoring pass as Texas attempts to do some offense.
Ooh, apex jump.
Beautiful attempted apex jump. It didn't work, but gosh, it looked pretty. In order for an apex jump to work, you must leave the ground and re-enter inbounds and upright. Impact play fighting through for that first scoring pass. We do have Sparkles Fantastic released from that penalty box. Texas setting up a shape in the back to welcome Sparkles Fantastic back to the track. That is 4 points on the board for impact play, bringing Texas Roller Girls across that century mark. Little Miss Maggot, now jammer of record for Red Stick Roller Derby. Little Miss Maggot working hard on this game. Has gotten quite a few star passes throughout this game so far and pushing through. Has got 3 more blockers to beat at the top for Texas. We do have one Texas blocker headed to the penalty box after that little interaction. Impact play still fighting through on their second scoring pass. Another Texas blocker headed to that roller derby penalty box. And Little Miss Maggot working through as impact play dances around that inside for 4 more points for Texas Roller Girls.
Ooh, arm whip.
And impact play coming up for a third scoring pass. Little Miss Maggot sneaking through on that inside line is now the jammer for Red Stick Roller Derby. And jam will end. That is going to be, let's see, the last points come in from our refs. 12 points on the board for Texas Roller Girls, holding Red Stick to 0 at 86 with 1:12 left in this first half. And it looks like we are going to have an official review called by Red Stick Roller Derby. Again, that is if a team wants to just chat with the refs, make sure we all saw the same thing. And remember, if the refs agree with you, you obtain your official review. If the refs say, you're wrong, you lose your official review. And that's okay. It's okay just to check. nice thing about official reviews is it does allow both teams to kind of take a breather, check in with each other, do some high fives, see how we're feeling. These teams have been playing a heck of a game so far. Really physical from both teams that we're seeing.
Very physical.
Very
Only
physical.
a minute 15 left in the half.
Yeah.
This went quickly.
Flew by.
Sort of literally. Some of these jammers have had some big jumps on the straightaways, on the apexes.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
They're flying. That's not for me. I'm a land-based mammal.
I'm a land mammal.
We are land-based jammers. That is not our jam. All right. So it would appear that we are going to start with a power jam for Red Stick. Texas jammer just hanging out in the penalty box. Great. So Red Stick did hold on to their official review, and they are starting with a power jam with Brawladine out first. And lead jammer for Red Stick Roller Derby is going to be Brawladine coming around still on a power jam. Texas jammer is fully sat in that box. Red Stick blockers making some work of their own, trying to get some offense through so Brawladine can skate through. Sneaks around that outside line.
Putting on a
Beautiful. You love an outside line.
Loving it.
Love an outside line. 4 points on the board for Brawladine and Red Stick Roller Derby. Brawladine is saying, do it again, friends. That is going to be a Texas blocker headed to the penalty box. And impact play out of nowhere coming through on the penalty box. Through on their initial. And Brawladine is going to say, sorry, buddy, I'm going to go ahead and call it off. Last couple points on the board. We're going to see 8 on the board total for Red Stick Roller Derby, bringing their total to 94 for this game.
16-point game. That tightened up.
That's tight. And it looks like we are having a timeout. Can't carry them into the next half. You may as well use them up.
22 more seconds left in the half, so this will likely be the last jam of this half.
Wow.
Almost certainly, but anything can happen.
Almost certainly.
You never know.
And actually, I lied to you. It's not a timeout. It's an official review for Red Stick. They said, we got to keep it the first time. Let's try it again.
Texas Rollergirls starting this jam with their pivot in the box. We will see if Red Stick can capitalize on this momentum. They have been cooking up at the tail end of this half.
Shout out to all of our fans watching in person and on the Twitch stream. Thanks for cheering us on. We love the attention.
That's why we're jammers.
Right. You right. We love the attention, but don't talk about it. We'll get anxious.
No, don't perceive me.
Don't perceive me. Thank you. Don't look at me.
Is this an official review?
It is. A la Red Stick. And the officials are going to talk about it and make sure they all saw the same thing, make sure everyone's eyes were open. Everyone's eyes and hearts are open for an official review.
A TikTok I really like of officials talking, and then they put like reality TV audio over it. Like, you know, I don't know about them. Like, it's just kind of catty. I know that's not what they're doing. They're talking about real rules and what they saw.
They could be talking about Vanderpump Rules.
I like to imagine they are talking about Vanderpump Rules.
Told me I have to watch Vanderpump Rules, so this is what my life has turned into. Are you
Team Ariana?
Team Ariana, really?
Oh God, you don't know. Never mind. Sorry.
I'm only on season 3. Gee whiz. You can't spoil this for me. I just started. Why are we team? Oh, I hate it here. Why are we Team Ariana? Okay. T-Rex and I are going to fight about that later. Official review has come to a close. Still have Texas Pivot starting in the penalty box. Red Stick did lose that official review, and that is okay. We have Mayhem West for Texas Roller Girls on the line against Twinkle Toes for Red Stick Roller Derby. Twinkle Toes hit to the outside and having to be recycled all the way back to the start. Mayhem West pushing towards the front against that hard Red Stick tripod. Ooh, gee whiz. Twinkle Toes with some magic offense from around the outside line thrown through, and unfortunately that will send them to the penalty box. So that is going to be a power jam for Mayhem West and Texas Rollergirls. I'm waiting to see what the penalty was, and it's not popping up yet. Sorry, friends. So Mayhem West pushing their way through, still on that initial pass for Texas. Has one more to beat at the front, two more to beat up front from Red Stick, and a turn around the inside is going to make them lead jammer for this jam. Mayhem West coming around for a scoring pass. Penalty box is now clear with Twinkle Toes returning to the track. Cap in hand, looking to complete their initial pass or pass off the start to their pivot, who is a little bit busy holding back the Texas jammer. Texas pivot up front, doing some offense for Mayhem West as she tries to come through on her first scoring pass. But Red Stick having none of that. Holding well at the front, even with bodies hitting the floor. They're quick to get back up. Beautiful offense from Peace War and Texas Rollergirls towards the top there. Mayhem West still with 2 left to beat and is getting hit all the way out, having to recycle back as Twinkle Toes busts through the middle with 1 left to beat. Twinkle Toes threw on their initial, and we're going to go ahead and call off the jam, and that will bring us to halftime. Score as of right now, Texas Rollergirls 114. Welcome back, friends. We are coming back for the second half of Game 2 of Day 1 of Minnesota Roller Derby's Have a Nice Day tournament. I got all those numbers right.
Yeah.
I'm now joined by Ermagerd.
Happy to be here, Chip.
After you ditched me for a tattoo.
Yeah, I was a little busy in the first half. I suffer from time blindness. I thought I could sneak it in before this game, and I did not, but I'm very happy with the results. All right, we are here on the jam line, joined by, looks like Sparkle's Fantastic from Red Stick Roller Derby, and Tropical Mexicana. I messed that up. Number 26 with the Texecutioners, who picks up lead. Going around that pack, beautiful angles through. Calls it off. We're going to get 4 points on the board right away. Bring the score up to 114 to 94 in favor of Texas Rollergirls.
Quick little wander over to our penalties. We do have one skater from Red Stick sitting at 5. Reminder to our friends and pals at home, you can get up to 7 penalties, and then you are politely asked to get the heck off the track. So, keeping that in mind. We currently do have 1 blocker per team in the penalty box. Both jammers lining up on that jammer line as the whistle will blow. We have Haas the Boss from Texas Rollergirls going up against Brawladine for Red Stick Roller Derby. Brawladine working on that outside and getting recycled back. Haas pushing against that inside middle against Red Stick. And that's going to be Brawladine from Red Stick Roller Derby out for lead. Not far behind, though, is Haas the Boss from Texas Rollergirls. Texas does have now a clear penalty box. 1 blocker standing for Red Stick. That's going to be Brawladine first, but Haas the Boss sneaking through that inside with a beautiful apex jump for 4 points for Texas Rollergirls. Brawladine hit to the outside, is going to go ahead and call it off. But a beautiful jump from Haas the Boss, sneaking through for 4 points.
Just beautiful footwork there from Haas. What a treat to see.
I love her. Is that weird?
Not at all.
That's great.
122 to 96. We're going to go into period 2, jam 3. Looks like we're going to see Mayhem up for Texas, and number 343, Twinkle Toes. Looks like we might get a lead out here on this first apex, and it's going to be Mayhem for Texas Rollergirls. We've got Twinkle Toes coming up around this second apex. Oh, we had a start pass, new jammer, Little Miss Maggot for Red Stick, and we're going to have a quick call off there. Couple of short jams in this second half. We're going to get a point confirmation. 2 points for Texas, none for Red Stick. All is well as we get to 124 to 96. Just about 3 minutes have passed, and we've already got a couple points for each team.
It's a busy game.
It is a busy game. I noticed in the first half that the score differential caught up pretty quick by the end of the second half, or end of the first half, excuse me. So
a very, very tight game by anyone's definition for Derby.
Yes.
We do have impact play from Texas with a beautiful turnaround on that toe stop. For lead for Texas Roller Girls, not far behind though, is Machu Picchu, who is now the jammer of record for Red Stick Roller Derby. Impact play working from the inside to the outside for those 4 points, and is going to go ahead and call it off. We'll see if they called off in time to hold Red Stick scoreless. Looks like they did. 4 points on the board for Texas Roller Girls. Red Stick held at 96.
Some excellent star pass strategy happening as well.
Such great star passes from both teams this game. Very quick, very sneaky. Very effective.
Yeah, no time wasted at all getting that star off to the next and only eligible person who can take that, the pivot. Beautiful footwork there from Spread Eagle, not Spread Eagle, that's Brawladine for Red Stick. And again, with the beautiful star pass, Peace War picking up for Texas Roller Girls. Brawla waiting for just the moment. Working her way through. Caught in a little bit of a pack. Out to the edge. Gets a nod from the outside pack ref. 4 points on the board, and it looks like she's going to keep going. Both jammers are out and scoring points. We're going to lose number 7 on Red Stick to the box. That is Foxy Cleosmakia. We'll see you back in a few seconds. We are still scoring passes. Brawladine now up to 16 points, 100 total for Red Stick. 136 for Texas. Peace War about to hit. Looks like that will be 12 points after this. 20-point jam for Brawladine so far, 116. That's 20 points in between the two teams. Looking to close that point differential as we get into the last 3 seconds of this 2-minute jam. Beautifully done by both teams.
It's always interesting looking at the strategy of when you have a team, if you're lead jammer and the other team does pass to the pivot, do you want to run it because you know that skater is not typically a jammer at all times? Do you want to run it to try and get skaters out of your penalty box? There's a lot of different reasons that you could run a jam, and it did go to Red Stick's advantage, 20 points to 12 on that jam. They do have one skater still standing, looks like in the penalty box for Red Stick.
Exactly, yeah, that was a 21-point jam for Red Stick, 12 points for Texas.
So even though Texas scored points, great strategy for Red Stick, kind of run down some penalty time. Looking over at my board, unfortunately, it looks like we do have a skater for Red Stick who is getting ready to foul out. Number 7 for Red Stick. Hold on, let me learn how to read.
Oh, Foxy
Cleosmakia is unfortunately sitting at 7 penalties, and that is the magic number for penalties. So Foxy will be politely asked to remove thyself from the track. And in that situation, I believe the captain has to go in and sit the rest of their penalty, correct?
That is right. Yep. If you are removed from the game, the captain will sit your penalty, albeit that penalty will not count towards the captain's penalty count.
All right. We also have a skater on the Texas side sitting at 6 penalties, so 1 away from that magic number of 7. Both jammers on that line. We have Tropical Mechanica from Texas Roller Girls and Twinkle Toes for Red Stick Roller Derby. It will be Twinkle Toes out first for lead jammer from Red Stick Roller Derby. Tropical Mechanica removing that helmet cover to try and attempt a star pass to their pivot, but Texas going to make a tripod in the back to try and stop Twinkle Toes from scoring points. And Tropical Mechanica doing some beautiful footwork of their own on the outside line to finish their initial pass. Star back on their helmet, coming around for some points of their own as Twinkletoe does work their way around that inside line and calls the jam before Tropical Mechanica can do any damage on that score. 4 points for that jam for Red Stick Roller Derby, 0 for Texas Roller Girls.
All right, Haas the Boss up for Texas Roller Girls and Sparkle's Fantastic for Red Stick. Both are met with some very fierce defense from both sides. Looking for a little bit of space there. Haas the Boss picks it up on the inside line, followed pretty closely by Sparkle's Fantastic. Quick cue there from Haas the Boss. Red Stick matches that cue. Haas calls it off for a 1-point jam. I almost said scoreless, but she got a point.
Scoreless +1.
Scoreless +1, exactly right.
I'm good at math.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, next jam. Guess what? Not a single person in that penalty box.
What?
Not a single person in that penalty box. Look.
That famous last words.
I know, I just jinxed the whole thing. As of right now, full complement of blockers for both teams on the track. We do have Mayhem West for Texas Roller Girls going up against Brawladine for Red Stick Roller Derby. Both jammers pushing through, and it is going to be Mayhem West out for lead for Texas. But not far behind is Brawladine from Red Stick Roller Derby, so we are going to see a little bit of a race. Both packs attempting to hold someone in the back so they can get their jammer to score points. It's going to be Mayhem West on that outside calling off, but let's see, did she call it in time? And she did. Full 4 points for Texas Roller Derby, holding Red Stick scoreless.
A beautifully timed call off there from Mayhem. Just
stunning. Stunning
yes.
timing.
Stunning. Unheard of, never been done before. Just
chef's kiss.
Yes. Literally. At the right second. All right. Impact play up for Texas. Twinkle Toes for Red Stick. This is Impact Play's second game of the day. She played earlier against Minnesota Nice. Had a wonderful game. I love watching Impact Play go because she just rolls around the tripods. It's lovely to see. We're going to see Twinkle Toes working up there. Oh, Twinkle Toes' name to her point, just dancing through, trying to get past. A little bit of an assist there. We will see number 13 back. That's Basher Bowes in a little bit. Both are just really stuck right now. Really, really good defensive blocking here. Just almost a minute in, no lead. Not even to the first apex yet. We are just stuck.
I'm exhausted watching.
A jammer nightmare. Here we go. Something might happen here in a second. We're going to thin this pack out a little bit. That's enough to do it. Impact Play picks up lead at about 42 seconds to go in the jam. Whew. $30 seconds left on the clock in jam number 9. And that'll do. 4 points total.
That was an absolute grind of a jam. Shout out to those defensive shapes holding those jammers. That did not look fun. No thanks.
I know. Now, Chip, you're a jammer.
I am.
What was that like watching that?
I'm exhausted. Okay?
Yes.
I'm out of breath for them. No thanks. There's not enough cardio in the world to prepare you for that.
Oftentimes, as announcers, we'll say we were tired just watching that.
It's
that was
exhausting to watch.
Yes.
All right, we do have Spread Eagle for Texas Roller Girls going up against Sparkles Fantastic for Red Stick. It is going to be Sparkles Fantastic for Red Stick Roller Derby. By the way, great derby name. Out for lead, coming up for their initial scoring pass. Spread Eagle is working their way through on the initial. They have removed the cap, which means they are looking for some help from their pivot friend. 4 on the board for Sparkles Fantastic and Red Stick Roller Derby. We do have a Texas blocker making their way to the penalty box. Sparkles Fantastic coming around for their second scoring pass. Spread Eagles still trying to fight their way through, but that Red Stick defensive shape has them locked down. We hear some more whistles blowing. And that is going to be Sparkles Fantastic through on a second scoring pass. We do have the Texas pivot headed to the Derby penalty box. And a beautiful apex jump from Sparkles Fantastic for a third scoring pass for Red Stick Roller Derby, bringing their score total up to 133 to Texas 149. Spread Eagle still working against that defensive shape from Red Stick. And a straightaway jump from Sparkles Fantastic, just for some variety, for another 4 points on the board. We do have pivot for Red Stick heading to the penalty box. Spread Eagle still working through, and Sparkles butt.
I was about to say, I was mentally thinking about how Red Stick just needs another 20-ish point jam to close that point differential, and now
Sparkles
it's 20
heard
points.
ya.
141 to 149, and it's about to change a little bit more.
Sparkles said, hold my beverage, I'll show ya.
Look at this. 153 Texas, 141 Red Stick.
This
that
is
is
the game.
still within 15 points of each other.
A game.
Wow.
Olivia Stoughton-John taking the star for Texas, throwing some points of their own on the board, but that is going to be a 20 roller derby. 145 Red Stick, 153 Texas. We've got 17 minutes left in this half. We got ourselves a game.
I know. I want to say that's probably the biggest jam of this game for sure.
Yes, there was a 23-point jam earlier, so if my math is correct, that is more by one.
And that also marks the biggest jam of the day so far.
Does, yep.
So 23 is the jam total to beat for Have a Nice Day so far.
Number
23. Ah, yes, I get it. Good pun.
yeah.
All right, we're going to have Tropical Mechanica picking up lead. I got it right this time.
Proud of you.
Yes. And Brawla Dean looking to catch up. She does not. 2 bones on the board for Texas.
Quick gander over to our penalties. Again, we still do have that Texas skater at 6. No one else in super big penalty trouble. A couple skaters from both teams with 3 apiece. 15 minutes left in the second half, so you've got some wiggle room. We are looking at Twinkle Toes on the jam line from Red Stick against Haas the Boss from Texas. Empty penalty box right now. Gee whiz. Both jammers trying to sneak up out and inside out, and blockers have other ideas. Now Twinkle Toes moving to the outside. Haas still trying to sneak up the inside, doing some amazing footwork to try and get through. Now both jammers on that outside line. Full complement of blockers means more bodies for those jammers to try and work through. Twinkle Toes checking out the gravity on the outside line. It does still work. Having to be recycled all the way back to the start. Haas the Boss pushing up towards that front, but Red Stick is locked in on that defensive shape. Twinkle Toes getting a little offensive help, and a great jersey whip
Oh my goodness.
by Twinkle Toes. Jammer's now stuck in the sad place at turn 1. We are hearing some whistles, which means some friends get to go take a break in the penalty box. Looks like we have one Red Stick blocker head to the penalty box. Twinkle Toes attempting an inside jump and having to go all the way back. Jammers pushing. The defensive game from both these teams this game has been incredible. That is going to be Haas the Boss out for lead a minute into this jam. Twinkle Toes working against that. And we do have one Texas blocker headed to the penalty box, so one blocker apiece in that penalty box right now. Haas the Boss on their first scoring pass. Twinkle Toes still working on their initial pass. They must complete that first pass. They did pass the start to Machu Picchu, who is now the jammer of record for Red Stick Roller Derby. Machu Picchu coming around for some points of their own. Haas the Boss chasing down from the tops, 4 points, and is going to go ahead and call off the jam.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gonna get a team timeout here
Good call.
in beautiful Hopkins, Minnesota.
Stunning Hopkins, Minnesota. Hopkins famous for
Raspberries.
Really?
Yes. I'm not even being facetious with you.
Hopkins is famous for raspberries?
They have a raspberry festival.
That's hilarious.
No.
Raspberry festival.
Raspberries.
That's the most Midwestern thing I think I've ever heard.
Why?
The Raspberry Festival.
No, it's I'm not even being weird. Like it's,
Raspberry the fruit, not raspberry like the...
Yeah, like the fruit.
Okay. When is it?
I don't know, sometime in the summer.
Huh.
My phone's dead. Otherwise, I'd look it
Oh
up.
my gosh. Unbelievable.
But it's like the water tower, like just down the street from here, has a raspberry on it.
Does it?
Yes.
Did I drive here?
Yes.
Oh,
I don't
no.
know. Yeah, your car's here. Look at it when you come back next time. Tomorrow. You have to be here tomorrow.
Oh, it has to be. You have to open your eyes when you drive.
Yes.
Ah. I'm doing it wrong. Don't tell my boss.
Sparkle's fantastic, picking up lead right at that first apex. We're sitting at 145, 159 in favor of Texas. Red Stick looking to get another big jam, couple more jams in. 4 points on the board. Gonna take them to 149, 10 points in between the two. Peace War now jamming for Texas after a beautifully executed star pass. Here comes 4 more, 153, 159. Oh, a track cut for Texas. Red Stick in a power jam. This could be the lead change. 2 more. If you are here in the crowd at Hopkins, Minnesota, I would like to have you make some noise for these teams. Here it comes. And if you are at home joining us on the live stream, I hope you are also staying hydrated and making some noise. There it is. We have a lead change, 161 to 159 in favor of Red Stick Roller Derby, joining us from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. A little bit of jammer on jammer contact.
As a jammer, my least favorite thing is this.
What?
I hate jammer on jammer defense.
Oh,
Hate
I
it.
egg it on all the
Oh,
time.
I
need
hate
it.
it.
I need it. All right, 13 seconds left in the jam. A little bit of a pile up here. We're going to have another penalty to Peace War, who will start in the penalty box for the next jam, putting Red Stick into a power start. Beautifully done by both teams. We are going to end at 165 to 162. Woo. Red Stick is having a lot of big jams this half.
She said it. It's a lead change. She said it. Switch, you just don't listen. Don't come over here. 162 to 165. We are going to have Texas Jammer starting in the box. So this is a power jam for Red Stick. Brawladine out there looking to make lead jammer and does so with ease around that outside line, looking to score some points for Red Stick. Texas going to hold a defensive shape and try and stop that from happening, but Red Stick doing a beautiful job breaking up those Texas skaters. Brawler with 2 more to beat up top, getting a little offensive help from Machu Picchu now on that outside line, and it's going to have to get recycled back. Beautiful hit up by Olivia Shootin' Jammer from Texas now back on the track, so Red Stick will do their best to hold Peace War towards the back. Brawler with 2 to beat. And recycled out, and that is going to be Peace War blasting through on their initial pass. Is now going to put that cap back on their head, coming around for some points for Texas. Alla looking to add a couple more points on the board, and is going to go ahead and call off the jam to keep Texas from scoring. Beautiful defense from both teams that jam. $162 Texas Rollergirls, 169. Nice.
Yeah.
From Red Stick. 10 minutes, 30 seconds left in this second half of the second game of the first day of Minnesota Roller Derby's Have a Nice Day tournament.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
I broke her. Sorry, we're going to have Michael Toes as lead jammer. Haas, the boss for Texas Roller Girls. Twinkle Toes trying to add some points to the board and is going to go ahead and call off the jam before Haas can do any damage of their own. Let's see how we landed. Looks like 2 in the air for Red Stick. Big old goose egg in the sky for Texas. Bringing our score 171 Red Stick, 160. Nothing. Unless I think I may have to subscribe. It's a subscriber in the chat. Ooh, a power jam for Texas.
All right, we are off and rolling. Tropical Mechanica and Twinkle Toes. 162 to 171. Trop picks up lead for Texas Rollergirls. A little bit of strategery happening here. Nice tap out attempt from our pivot for Red Stick. I believe that is Machu Picchu. Not quite enough. Trop back on the turnaround, looking to hit that 170, 171 mark. Oh my goodness, big jump there from Twinkle Toes. Looks like everybody's up roughly okay. We're gonna have somebody heading to the penalty box. That's number 237, Blue Jay. We'll see you back in a little bit, Blue Jay. Texas Jammer is caught up in a Red Stick defensive line. Not a ton of movement right now. There we go, and we have a star pass. Big hit out there to our new jammer, Machu Picchu, for Red Stick. Run back on that second straightaway. 30 seconds left in the jam. Absolutely beautiful blocking there from the Texas wall. Number 1898 there. Papaya on fire stopping Texas. And we'll get a final point count. Looks like it's going to be another 4 points on the board. Oh, it's a 1-point game. 170 to 171. Red Stick hanging on to that lead. Woo! Feed. A little stressful indeed. I know sometimes you have to shake the microphone to get it to work.
Like a shake weight.
Yeah. It is a 1-point game.
We have Haas the Boss on the tack for Texas Rollergirls going up against Brawladine for Red Stick. Brawladine with a quick lead from the outside line. Texas quickly coming up from that inside line. We're going to have Brawla making some quick 4 points and is going to call off the jam. Damn, that was fast. Let's see. We have 4 in the air for Red Stick. Again, a group. Another lead change by 1 point. 174 Texas, 175 Red Stick.
All right, looks like we've got a lead. Sparkle's fantastic, grabbing that L symbol for lead. Looks like the star is off for Texas. A little bit of a pileup. I think we're going to get a penalty of some sort. I didn't see what it was, but it went to the Red Stick pivot. We will see you back in a little bit. We're going to have, both pivots in the box. All right. That means both jammers are on their own for just a moment. Sparkle's fantastic doing. Oh, she can. There we go. Nicely done. 4 points on the board. 179 for Red Stick. Mayhem West also working her way through. Nicely done. Beautiful entry. Looks like we're going to see the end of this jam in just a moment. There we go.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Wow. What? Oh, you're pointing it at me. Thanks, Brian. Okay. Sorry, suckers. My mic works again. I know. Unfortunate.
We're in the bottom 5 minutes of this game already. Can you believe it?
Time flies when you're having fun watching other people do hard stuff.
I can't believe it. We're in a team timeout. Looks like this one was taken by Texas, so we'll have a minute.
Coming up after this at 7 p.m. Central Time, we do have Minnesota Roller Derby A-Team versus Arizona Roller Derby All-Stars. And then, don't worry, the fun doesn't end there. Tomorrow, we do have 6 games starting at 10 a.m. I'm going
10, noon, 2, 4, 6, 8.
Thanks. My mic is telling me to shut up, and I shan't do it.
And then Sunday we have 10, noon, and 2.
Current score is Texas Rollergirls 174, Red Stick Roller Derby 183. 4 minutes 42 seconds left in F. That whistle ends the timeout. 1 blocker from Texas starting in that penalty box.
I'll turn that up.
Is it on now? Hello. Ooh, your mic's warm. That's nice. All right. Tropical Mechanica and Brawladine for their respective teams starting on that jam line. And with a twist and a turn up that inside, we do have Tropical Mechanica from Texas Rollergirls as your lead jammer. Brawladine passing that start to Little Miss Maggot, new jammer of record for Red Stick. Tropical Mechanica coming in for that first scoring pass, looking to get some points on the board, and is going to run it through, it looks like, as Little Miss Maggot is at the top of that pack with 4 points for Red Stick. We do have a Red Stick blocker heading to the penalty box. Tropical Mechanica working on those first 4 points of her own is still lead jammer. It is now 4 points per team. And it looks as though the Texas coach is telling Tropical Mechanica to run the jam as Little Miss Maggot does come through on their second scoring pass. Great little whip. 8 points on the board for Red Stick Roller Derby and another 4 on the board for Texas.
Update on the score. 182 to 191.
182 for Texas Roller Girls, 191 for Red Stick Roller Derby. 3 minutes and 30 seconds left in this.
Score is sitting at 182 to 191.
And we have Haas the Boss on the line for Texas Roller Girls and Twinkle Toes for Red Stick. That is going to be Haas the Boss as lead jammer for Texas Roller Girls. Twinkle Toes rushing, unfortunately, to the penalty box. This is going to be a power jam for Texas and a quick 4 points on that inside line for Haas the Boss and Texas Roller Girls. Folks, we got ourselves a game. Haas coming in for their second scoring pass. And is going to be sent to the penalty box.
Oh my goodness. We have a critical moment here in the next 2 minutes and 36 seconds.
I'm stressed.
An extremely close game, a jammer swap. The next 1 minute and 15 seconds in this jam.
You cannot have both jammers in the penalty box at once, so even though Twinkle Toes did not sit their full penalty, they were released, and Haas will sit the exact same time as Twinkle Toes did. Now Haas being released from the penalty box. Twinkle Toes has removed the cap from their head, looking to pass that star. Haas coming in from the penalty box. And is through.
Wow.
Twinkle Toes, unfortunately, heading back to that penalty box. Oh, cute. Haas coming in for another scoring pass. 8 on the board so far for Texas Roller Girls, bringing their score to 190.
Wow. Looks like we're going to get a forearm assess to number 100 on Red Stick, Original Sin.
And quite the hit.
No kidding. Number 5 running it all the way back on Red Stick. That's I Shove Lucy. Beautiful footwork from Haas the Boss. Oh my God.
Bringing the score. Lead change. Texas 194. Red Stick 191. Twinkle Toes is back in from the penalty box, trying to make that pass, and Texas is holding them back. The insane hit to the inside. We will bring.
We'll get a timeout for Texas. 198 to 191. Another lead change. We've had a couple lead changes. 16-point jam for Texas. The bottom 1 minute and 9 seconds as we go into jam number 21. To bring back a very 90s term, gadzooks. There's a lot happening here.
Gadzooks.
Gadzooks.
I like it.
Right?
That rolling whistle will bring us to what will likely be the final jam of the game. We have one blocker from Red Stick standing in the penalty box. Tropical Mechanica from Texas Rollergirls against Sparkles Fantastic for Red Stick Roller Derby. Both jammers still fighting for lead.
A beautiful lead picked up by Trop, looking to pass the 2-century mark with this pass. Holy Banock. Wow, I am fumbling for words.
That was a stunning apex
Wow.
jump by Tropical Mechanica.
If you know me as a person in this activity, you know that I'm usually a big yapper, and I'm rendered a little speechless
That
right
was
now.
Beautiful to watch.
Wow. All right.
With that being a short jam, though, that does mean we are going to have time for one more. Current score, Texas Rollergirls 202, Red Stick Roller Derby 191. Clear penalty box.
We're looking for big offensive and defensive swapping, super quick transitions here.
Really smart gameplay by both these teams in this game. Beautiful moves. And that is going to be across the box from Texas as lead. And is going to call it because why not? Because you can. All right, folks. Unofficial score, Texas Rollergirls 202, Red Stick Roller Derby 191. It's not over until that final whistle blows, but an incredible game from both teams.
Oh, my goodness. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Wow.
Tiff. Just outstanding transitions, offense, defense, smart gameplay, star passes.
The
Just
works.
textbook gameplay from both teams.
Absolutely.
Outstanding coaching, outstanding communication. Just, I hope everybody who watches this now and in the future just knows what a